Live from Orlando, Florida, you're listening to the Orlando Magic HQ podcast, the voice of Magic fans. Join us every week for a unique fan perspective on all of the latest Magic news and updates. The show starts now.
What's up, Magic fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Orlando Magic HQ podcast, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network and BetOnline. We're your hosts, Al, myself, Anthony, and we're 1-0, baby. Undefeated in the season. We just got done putting a stomping on the Houston Rockets, man. What a great way to start the season. And in today's episode, we're gonna talk a little bit about the game. We'll talk more about that in just a moment because there's a lot of exciting things that we want to discuss. But we're also going to touch base on Cole Anthony and his brand new contract. Obviously, the City Edition uniforms that just came out, we were able to see that. We opened up the season with those on, and man, were they beautiful. And then some other things that we heard around the NBA. But before we get into it, we had some giveaways and we had a couple extra things that we're pretty excited to talk about. So Al, kind of reel us in. What's going on?
Yeah, man. So let's start with the giveaway. Always the good news first. So if you are a listener that's not aware yet, or you're watching on YouTube, we are giving away a brand new City Edition, which, by the way, we're going to use them, I think, next week. It's our first time using them, if I'm not mistaken. But our City Edition jerseys have not really been fully revealed. We've actually gone out there and put on some rumored what they will look like. But if you haven't seen them yet, City Edition, 2023-24 edition, giving it away. And all you have to do is go to our website, go to our forums. We have a thread going on basically for the giveaway. And all you have to do is respond to that thread with your expectations or your record prediction for the Magic this season. That's all it takes. Do that, and we're going to choose a winner next Friday. If you need the link, you can go to our social media. It is pinned in our Twitter. It is also being shared every day on our Instagram stories. So again, if you want to qualify and hopefully get a free jersey, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, man, I'll be honest with you. The new City Edition uniforms, they were leaked. We were able to see what they will look like. It hasn't been fully confirmed, but there's already people posting pictures of some of these jerseys already out on sale. So we know for sure that's going to look kind of like what we've seen. And it's an upgraded version of what we saw from last year. So they're continuing the Kingdom on the Rise. And I'll be honest with you. The pictures I saw in store, I wasn't too crazy about. I really want to see them in person, but the mock-ups that I saw looked a lot better, and there were a few updates that I really, really liked. One of the first things that will stand out to you is that these uniforms, they went away with the wishbone collar, and they brought back the U collar, which a lot of people are a huge fan of. I really like that. And the next thing, the one thing that I really hated about last year's City Edition jerseys, that the font of Orlando and the number were two completely different fonts. They finally got that right, where they're the same font, so it matches now, which is pretty cool. And then they did the traditional right thing to do, and is taking out the A and putting the star in the middle of the word Orlando. So a lot of really good updates to it. It's not Magic Royal Blue; it's more of a navy blue. Some people are coining it as the Cowboy Magic uniform. It's very nostalgic to the college, the NFL Dallas Cowboy uniform. So if you're a Cowboys fan, this is like best of both worlds. But I like the uniforms. I don't think they're bad. I hated the pictures that I saw in store, but I'm curious to see what they look like in person. But for the most part, in my opinion, definitely an upgrade from last season.
Yeah, for sure. And I think once we see the full package, right, we're going to see what the court looks like. I think that's when they come to life. I think seeing it right now in a random picture in some random store doesn't do it justice. I know that was my takeaway also last year when I first saw the City Edition. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. Saw them in person. I'm like, wait, they actually look really nice. So let's see what that looks like. But again, that's an awesome way to kind of get it started, man. You get a brand new City Edition jersey by joining our forums. So best of luck to everyone that joins over the next week. Again, a winner will be announced on this podcast next Friday.
Yeah, and then real quick, just to kind of touch base on it, man. The forum is really exciting, something new that we added to our website. The idea behind it is really to build a community within the website where people, a place where people are able to talk about, the Orlando Magic. You're able to create topics, you're able to make comments, you're able to really partake in a community that we're trying to build. So really exciting. You're able to create username and password to be able to have access to it. So if you haven't already done it, make sure you go to orlandomagichq.com. You'll see it right at the top where it says forum, and get in and put yourself inside this contest, this giveaway. We've given away a lot of uniforms within the last few years. And if you haven't won one yet, it's only a matter of time, man. So go ahead and push that button, visit that website, create a username and password, and get yourself into this contest. And then we also had one last announcement, which is if you're familiar with the Close Up Magic podcast, unfortunately, Stephen Cameron is no longer going to have the Close Up Magic podcast because he's joining the HQ, man. We're super excited about it. Steven's one of the OGs. He's been doing this podcast thing for a very, very long time. And we're happy to add him to the team. He is going to be more guest focused. If you haven't noticed, Al and I, we haven't had a guest in a pretty long time. Primarily my fault because of my kids, and when we're recording this podcast like at 10:30 at night, like extremely late. So it's just really hard for us to be able to have guests on, and Steven's going to focus on having different guests on his show. So we're really excited. He's an awesome dude. If you haven't listened to his podcast before, this is going to be a great introduction to another voice around the Orlando Magic. Super, super knowledgeable, good dude. And man, we're really excited to have him part of the team.
Yeah, man, 100%. This has been in the works for maybe 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, and it's finally official now. The whole HQ family now knows about it. All of our followers and listeners know about it as well. So we've said it a million times to him, but we're really, really excited. It's a new journey, and our goal to all of you guys that are listening and watching this podcast, it's always been HQ is all about providing you guys with different perspectives, a fan's voice, a fan opinion, non-filter, right? That's what makes us unique, I believe. And we're adding more voices that can do that. Well, there's our Twitter Spaces. Stanley and Bryce doing an amazing job this week. If you guys got a chance to join the Spaces with the Houston hosts, we now got Steven doing more guest-driven podcasts. Ourselves, we're not going to go away. BJ doing the articles and the in-game coverage. So again, I hope you guys are enjoying all the content we're putting out. But one more time, Steven, welcome to the team, and I hope you guys all enjoy the new audio and video content that will be provided by Steven. At least it's going to be bi-weekly for now, but maybe more than that. So keep an eye on that. It will be on our HQ podcast feed and also our HQ YouTube channel. So hope you guys enjoy that.
A lot to be excited about. But now let's talk about this Magic game, man. Magic finally back, season opener. Al, you were at the game. Magic go against a very young and kind of veteran-ish roster of the Houston Rockets, a new look Rockets where they had Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, they got Ime Udoka. Like this is not the Houston Rockets that we were used to seeing, right? They had some, Eamon Thompson. So this is a roster that we're expecting for them to be talented. And if you didn't get a chance to listen to our live spaces that we had, ran by Stanley and Bryce, where they were talking to the Spaces guys over in the Houston Rockets community, they were extremely confident that this wasn't going to be a walk in the park, right? They were expecting to stomp the Orlando Magic. Unfortunately, we know better. 86-116. The Orlando Magic came out swinging, and really it was a message to the rest of the league where this is not the same Orlando Magic that people are used to seeing. This is not the same Orlando Magic that Patrick Beverley was implying, right? This is a team that came out. Granted, it's a Houston Rockets team, young, fresh. They still got to figure their stuff out. But the Magic came out looking like a veteran team, and it was fun to watch. Again, 116-86. Al, you were at the arena. Man, talk to me. How was the atmosphere? How was it seeing it live? You were able to see the uniforms, the Classic Edition uniforms in person. How was that experience?
Dude, so I mean, I think I tweeted about this last night, but Hamway was rocking from the beginning all the way to the end. Unfortunately for tip off and the whole player intros, the whole crowd wasn't quite there yet. They arrived a little bit late. Traffic was insane heading into the game yesterday. But for those of us that were there, again, the energy could be felt from the moment you walked in. As the game went on, and I gotta say, man, that third quarter, that final minute, JI, we'll talk about it more in depth. But that moment, man, I cannot put it into words. Whether it was me at the time hugging my wife and then kind of pushing her off, like, what did I just witness when JI did that block? To standing up and just losing my voice at that moment. Dude, like that moment was the closest thing, if not better, for that minute than game three, 2019, Raptors against Magic. Like that's the closest thing that comes to mind. Everyone was on their feet. The crowd was going crazy. In a close second, believe it or not, garbage time when Anthony Black had that crazy block on Eamon Thompson, and we actually challenged it. Like the crowd's reaction was insane to that. Like they were so supportive for the coach's decision to not let it go to waste. But I mean, if you're a Magic fan, I know that you guys have seen it all about it on Twitter today. The Six Man Show, I know they did a great job covering it. We covered it. The energy, man. And if that's only game one, that's only, October. I don't want to know what it's going to be like when March comes around and this team is playing well. We're fighting for a playoff spot. The crowd showed up. That's what I'm going to say. So, Magic fans, man, thank you for the support of the team yesterday because we needed that. And the guys could definitely feel it. You heard the coach talking about it. J.I. walking off in the tunnel. He was talking about the crowd right away. I mean, it could be felt from the moment you enter the arena all the way to the end. All I got to say is it's a different energy in Orlando right now, man. This team really is getting a lot of love, and the players are getting it right back to us, man. That performance last night, a team record opening night by the Magic, a 30-point win. Incredible night. That's all I can say.
We never took the foot off the gas. There was a moment where Houston Rockets they ended up coming back, but the Magic kept fighting, man, and they were exciting to watch from beginning to end. The first unit, the second unit, even the third unit. Everyone was fun to watch, man. There wasn't one specific player where you're just like, man, what is this guy doing? Not everyone had a fantastic game, but they played together, man. They played cohesively, and it was fun. It felt as if this was a different team. It felt as if this is a special group, and it's not just the fan base talking about it. It's not just us believing and thinking this. The team believes it also. I saw a video online today where Nate Tibbetts was kind of talking to the rest of the team and addressing the fact that he was going to be leaving the team to go be a head coach for the Phoenix WNBA team. And he talked about, man, take advantage of the time that you have, the moment that you have together, because for the players that have experience elsewhere, it's not like this everywhere else. The staff, the players, the roster, the team in general, the fan base, everyone, there's definitely a special vibe that's going on, and the fact that that's reflecting on the court, man, is absolutely beautiful. And the fact that we have the right uniforms to be able to collaborate together with that is insane, man. The uniforms pop out from the TV, so I know they look dope in person, but from a spectator at home watching it, they were beautiful. The court was effing awesome. The game was great. And it wasn't again, it's not just, Franz Wagner leading the way, Paolo, like whoever. It's, man, Cole Anthony just signing his contract and coming out and balling out, dropping 20 points from the bench. Like, you're talking about the littlest guy, one of the littlest guys on the court, going against a player that at one point you're talking about, there was so many rumors about Fred VanVleet connected to the Orlando Magic, and people legit telling the world, why do we want Fred VanVleet when we got Cole Anthony, a more athletic, younger version of Fred VanVleet? And Cole Anthony came out, he rocked it, man. Cole Anthony had an awesome game, 20 points, 8 rebounds, and shot 8 from 12 from the field. Cole Anthony was a monster, man. And if this is something that we can get consistently from Cole Anthony leading that second unit, the second unit is fun, man. You got Cole Anthony, you got Jonathan Isaac. Joe Ingles didn't do a whole lot, but he was getting people involved, man. He was getting people in the right places. Dante Marchitelli during the broadcast was saying that he is the one voice that you hear nonstop throughout the whole entire game on the bench, just trying to help people out, share what he's seeing, and it's that veteran presence that you're almost surprised of, right? Because I've obviously you know a little bit of Joe Ingles before he comes, to the team, but to be able to see that he's already having that level of impact. Goes to show you that it's not just about the impact that they do on the floor, but also the impact that they're able to do on the bench. And so far, man, that's what you want from your vet.
And dude, you said it perfectly. That bench, the way they play the game. I mean, to your point, like I don't know who I have more fun watching, the starters or the bench. Like they're so fun to watch. At the same time, like it was crazy. So like you think about the way that we started the game, right? So Franz kind of got us going. Franz hit the first 3 3-pointers that he took. One of them was a nasty step back. It was just insane.
Drop Jabari.
Dude, oh my God. So he gets you going, but then I kept telling my wife as I'm watching the game, like, watch, we're up 10 when the starters got a break. If the bench can maintain that or give us an increase in the lead, that's going to be the key for this team this year, that the starters can rest and not have to worry about losing the lead. And man, they did just that. They blew it up to, I think, 18 points in the second quarter. So that's my thing. Like, if that can be consistent for our team throughout the year, where the bench can kind of hold the lead or increase it, that's going to be incredible. And I mean, the depth that we have, man, not many teams can say they have a legitimate 10 players who can play that can produce at any given time. To your point, Joe Ingles, you may look at this box score and say, what, no points? What is he doing out there? Well, timeout. He actually had a sweet 5 assists and 4 rebounds. So like, even though he's not contributing to the scoring, he's out there leading in other ways, contributing in other ways. And to your point, he's the first one out there getting guys his face when they make a mistake, getting on the refs, most importantly, when they miss a call, which we've never had that before. I think that's his leadership style. So don't look at points for him. Look at what is he doing else on the court to contribute to our team. But man, the bench was magical last night. Magical. Yeah, I get it. But it was just, man, like it's going to be fun to watch. I can't wait for tonight against Portland. And honestly, I just want to see how the bench continues to play. The starters are going to do their thing. I know that. If the bench can maintain this, man, J.I., we'll talk about it later. My goodness, man. No words.
Yeah, I mean, listen, just to kind of touch on Joe Ingles a bit, 0 from 3 from the 3-point line. He didn't score, man, but he was able to impact the game in other ways. But understand that this is someone that's been in the league for a minute, man. If there's one thing that you know about Joe Ingles is that you're gonna have to respect that shot. You're gonna have to make that decision. You're going to have to guard him. That allows for everything to open up for everyone else. So the fact that you have someone that is that threat out there, just by the name alone, it definitely makes a difference. And you take a look at, the team, and you mentioned it, man. We have such a deep team. If you literally have 10 players that can go out there and really make an impact offensively and defensively. The Magic played 15 players yesterday, right? 15 players. That is ridiculous. That's not something that I think that you can sustain, right? But the fact that you played everybody got a chance to see the court is awesome. And yes, before we talk about Jonathan Isaac, I do want to touch base on our third string real quick. We got our first glance to be able to see Anthony Black and Jay Howard play in their first official real NBA game. And from the third unit, first and foremost, Caleb Houston, he looked like a vet out there. That dude looked poised. He was not nervous. He was throwing shots up. Like I really like seeing, in the limited time that we saw him, I really like seeing his movements. I thought he did well. But man, Anthony Black surprised the hell out of me. He really surprised the hell. I think that for the limited garbage minutes that he played, and I said this in social media, he played the most perfect garbage limited minutes I've ever seen in my life. It was perfect. Everything about it. He made the right decisions. He made the right reads. He didn't force anything. He took what the defense gave him. He was great defensively. Like it was awesome. And the fact that he got called on a foul from a block and the team got up and they were like, no, we got to run that back. We got to replay, call it the challenge. We're already up by a crap ton. I'm sure the Houston Rockets bench was pissed that we called for that challenge. But you know what? We don't care. Call it. Why? Because that's a confidence booster. Rookie, you deserve that, man. Especially after they force, Jet Howard and and Anthony Black to show up to the hangar with their little Girl Scout backpacks that they had on. They had like a Minnie Mouse and Disney princess. There's a little rookie hazing that they be doing. They made sure that, man, you're gonna have that moment. It was awesome to see those highlighted moments happen for Anthony Black. I was super impressed by him, especially all that garbage you were talking about, Al, about Anthony Black. Did that change your mind a little bit? At least did it alter it a bit?
Dude, I just gotta say this: he for sure looked the most comfortable he's looked since Summer League Game 1. That was the last time I remember him looking this comfortable out there. To your point, 5 points, 1 assist, 2 blocks, 2 for 2 from the field. The free throw that he took, even that, if you remember preseason, his free throws were like all this hesitation. Like he looked nervous at the free throw line. Yesterday, he got the ball, shot it with no hesitation, wet. I'm like, where was that 2 games ago? Like, what happened? So I'm hoping this is the Franz Wagner effect, where preseason was like, what the heck was that? And now the lights are on, and he's like, I'm here to play. But he looked really good, man. He looked awesome. He was going to the basket. That's his strength. He was playing good defense. 2 block shots that were both really, really good block shots. I mean, what else can you ask for? It's only 5 minutes, but for your NBA debut, it was perfect.
Yeah, well, I will say that, seeing Franz Wagner have a really good game was really exciting. Hit 3 threes, very early on in the game. He looked like Batman out there. You know how, if you listen to a few episodes ago, we called the episode Batman and Batman, because we really feel like, Franz and Paolo, they're both A1s, right? Franz definitely has that dog in him where you can have that level of play from him, on a consistent basis. So I really like what I saw from Franz. Paolo, it kind of seems like the slow start is still kind of carrying over from the preseason. I don't know if that stems from the heavy offseason that he had or whatever case may be. We can kind of even tilt our hat over to the Houston Rockets and them game planning for Paolo Banchero. But really, really light night for Paolo. Only had 12 points. He was a plus 13 on the game, so he definitely impacted the game in the right ways. But you expect more, right? This is year 2 from Paolo Banchero. He's the face of your franchise. You're expecting for him to be dominant, and we still haven't seen that. Are you worried?
Nah, man. I think he was getting tripped. If he was going to the basket last night, if you watch some pictures and videos that were put online, triple teamed every time. So what does that mean? They're not letting him do anything inside. And again, to your point, Rockets did a great job controlling that. But at the same time, props to Paolo for passing out of those triple teams and finding the open teammates. Again, 5 assists goes a long way. 5 rebounds. Should be getting more rebounds than 5, but we'll take it. So I wouldn't judge him based on this game. He'll be fine. He'll wake up eventually, drop 30, and then you're like, all right, here we go. But to your point, man, Franz, I have yet to see a game where I'm like, wait, he's taking it easy, or man, like he doesn't look like himself. He's been on preseason now. Dude has been just with this swagger to him since he won the FIBA World Cup. And it's only going to get better, man, because this kid is really, really good. I mean, I keep saying it. His shot reminds me of a younger Klay Thompson. Like the form is beautiful. The confidence is there. I mean, he's 6'10". Klay's only 6'7". But outside of that, man, this dude has this crazy confidence that if that continues and Paolo plays like himself, not many teams can have 2 guys at age 20 and 21 with the bright future they have ahead of themselves at 6'10" each. Like, it's just crazy, man. Like, that's what I keep saying. If the Magic play their cards right, the future is really bright, man.
Yeah, Franz is just moving different, man. This isn't timid rookie year Franz. This isn't, still learning the game sophomore Franz. This is world champion Franz Wagner. And he walks around with that swagger, like you said, as if, he's that guy. And he is. I'm sure he hears all the same things that we hear about him. I mean, if he's not, I'm sure his brother's telling him about it. He's that guy, man. And he's definitely, from an international standpoint, he's the future. And from an NBA standpoint, he's one of the best young players in the NBA. And he's definitely acting like it. Can we continue to see that on a consistent basis? I believe so. Can he still continue to be that Iron Man player that he is, where, nothing holds him back, not a minor sprained ankle, nothing? I believe that we have that type of player that can definitely carry out, man. And I love it. I love seeing it. And stuff like that is infectious also, man. It impacts the rest of the team. People are going to look to him. He's able to take the ball, drive it. He had this crazy looking Dirk Nowitzki shot that he shot in yesterday's game also. That was beautiful. I love everything about Franz Wagner's game. But what's even more impressive was Jonathan Isaac. Let's talk about JI for a minute.
Sheesh.
This is a player that is no longer 11-minute JI. He's now 14-minute JI. We were able to see him in a longer span, in a longer stretch, which was awesome. And although offensively, we're still working on a few things, right? He's still trying to get his feet underneath him. But Cole Anthony tweeted it, Defensive Player of the Year. Houston Rockets Spaces, they were kind of joking around. Man, put Jonathan Isaac in the game. We're not scared, right? Man, you should be, because Jonathan Isaac had Jalen Green kind of reevaluating a lot of things the day after. What were some of the things you liked from J.I.?
I mean, defense, man. We've known that for many, many years. When this guy's on the court, he changes the game, right? And again, that third quarter, if you just watch the final minute of that third quarter, that's all you got to watch to understand what this guy can do. Like the putback, the layup. Then you follow that up by that crazy block on Jalen Green. Following that up with the way that he looked at him when he fell on the ground, it was just perfect. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better return for him to be on the court. I do believe there'll be ups and downs with J.I., right? Just he's getting himself game ready, playing now 14 minutes a night. Hopefully he gets to 20 here soon. It'll be a struggle some nights. We get that. But let's just talk about last night, that opening night, man. My goodness. Again, the crowd embraced him. It's amazing to see now on social media people switching up from treat him, cut him, wave him, to now we love him. And
all
I get
that
it, man.
slander.
And I get it. We cannot say that we have not said some things like that in the past. We have. And it's injuries related, right? It was never about what he can do on the court. But when he is healthy, and again, I said it last night to a few people, that is our biggest free agent acquisition. That is our biggest trade acquisition. That is our biggest drafted player. Like, that's the impact that he can have on this team if he can play 60 games this year. He can change games for us. In just that third quarter, Houston was making a comeback. He single-handedly said, stop it. You're not coming back. Like, that sequence changed the night for good. Houston had no chance after that.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. The pre-notion that you think of, we understand that Jonathan Isaac is very vocal in his beliefs, right? And for a brief moment, I felt like I saw something that I just wasn't expecting. Like the block you expect, right? We know that Jonathan Isaac is that guy. Like, we know, healthy, defensively, he's that dude. But for him to flex on Jalen Green and say whatever it is that he said, and kind of just shrugged his shoulders a little bit and just flexed, both arms flex on it. I loved everything about that. It was vicious. It got everyone hyped. He was hyped. He got his first technical of his NBA career. And what I love the most about that moment is the fact that when he was walking back towards the bench, he's going to Coach Mose apologizing because they got a tech for taunting. And Coach Mo says, listen, we're with it. Like, the whole team is with it. Like, we're good. Well-deserved tech. We're good. You keep doing that. I think is awesome, man, because defensively, and this is stuff that we've heard from Coach Mose, is that the identity of the team is going to be on the defensive end. If you're not going to be defending, then it's going to be very hard to put you on the floor. And defensively, and this is part of the reason why I feel eventually J.I., somehow you're going to have to put him in the starting lineup. Maybe not in the beginning of the season. Maybe when he's more comfortable in playing those 20-minute games. Maybe towards postseason. I don't know. At some point, we're going to see Jonathan Isaac in the starting lineup. And it's going to be because of his impact defensively. And man, if Jonathan Isaac ever needed a confidence booster, it was that moment, it was that game. And he was doing everything, man. He was running the floor, he was blocking shots. Even if they weren't going in, he was shooting. I damn near had a heart attack every single time this man hit the floor. And it was one of the most exhilarating feelings I've had in a very long time. It felt like a playoff game. I swear to you, it truly did, and I'm sure in person it was even more so. But it definitely felt like a playoff game. And I loved everything about it. This is one of those games that we're going to remember for a minute because of its impact. You win by
Oh yeah.
30. Jonathan Isaac had crazy amount of highlight plays. The team played great together, and it was a great moment overall.
Dude, you know what the best part of all of this is? This has been one night, opening night, and we've talked
That's
about
it.
it for 20 plus minutes.
Just
You
one.
know, dude, there's 81 more of these things to happen. And again, tonight against the Blazers, I'm like itching. I'm like, wait, come on, it's at 10 o'clock. Yeah, I want to watch this game. This team is going to be a fun team to watch this year. And again, man, there's not a team on the schedule, to be honest, that I'm not like, we can compete with them. And that's fun. It's been many, many, many years that I haven't felt that way, where I'm like, we're going into a game and the Magic have a chance to win this game. So you know what, man? It's a different feeling. We've earned it as Magic fans this moment. Enjoy this crazy win because it was a blast. But man, let's get game 2 against Portland because the schedule gets a little tougher after that. We'll talk about it later. But let's get this game against Portland. Let's go 2-0. And you never know. Go upset LeBron, go upset the Clippers, shock the world.
But this is what it's about, right? The Houston Rockets, on paper, that's a team that you're supposed to beat. You're supposed to beat them. People in Houston won't agree because they spent a lot of money on Dylan Brooks. They spent a lot of money on Fred VanVleet. We ain't spent no money. We spent nothing, bro. Like, we spent nothing. And the fact that, this team is where it's at, it's exciting. If you were watching from home, then you would have saw Is This Anything, where the highlight was the fact that the Orlando Magic have the most drafted players on their team. And to really kind of sit back and think about it, it's exciting to see that organically this is a team that you've created, right? And finally people are starting to get into themselves. Even watching Jalen Suggs, he took a lot of questionable shots. There was a lot of moments where I felt like he was being aggressive. You want him to be aggressive. He hit his first shot was a 3, which was awesome to see. But he, in my opinion, he's also moving a little different. So it's fun to see this team develop the way that they have been. And what a journey it's been. We've been waiting for a moment like this for a minute, to where we're walking into these games kind of beating our chest a bit, knowing that whoever we're going to play, we're going to be a problem. And we're not the only ones now starting to see this. Jay Williams on First Take was talking about where he believes like the Knicks are going to be a 3rd seed in the East. Whatever. If that's what you think, that's what you think. But briefly, and it was briefly, the Magic were not a topic. This was just part of the conversation. He probably mentioned this maybe for 2.5 seconds, but he listed the Orlando Magic as being a team that is a sleeper in the East. And I cannot think of a more accurate title than sleeper, because people are used to the record that we had last season, right? The how people view the Orlando Magic, all of it. People don't think of us respectfully.
Yep.
They think they come to Orlando and, hey, we're gonna go out, we're gonna go have dinner, we're not gonna take these teams serious. And that's just, we're not that team anymore. And game by game, even though I felt like we did a great job of that last season, game by game, we need to start, teaching these teams a lesson, take advantage of those moments.
100% agree, man. It's going to come down to us. Those little mistakes that we made last year, those offensive rebounds that we couldn't grab at the end of games, those silly missed inside shots that should have been easy layups that we missed. With experience, you get better. With experience, you learn from your mistakes. And I think this team now has learned those lessons. And I think that's why this year will be different. In the clutch, we'll be a better team. We'll be a better team like last night. We had a huge lead that we kind of blew in the 3rd quarter. Dude, Houston was down 2 at one point in the 3rd quarter. And the Magic came back and stormed and went back up 20 in a matter of minutes. That tells you we fell asleep for a bit. We got this. We know what we got to do to get back on track. And they did it. So I think that is going to be huge for this team. And I'm glad we're seeing Jay Will say that. The Athletic last night retweeted a post and said, "Oh, we're watching," or I forgot the exact words.
Attention. Yeah.
We have our attention. And I don't know if you guys saw this. Well, we retweeted that and said, "Nah, we're good. We don't need your petty attention now." Like, we've been saying this. We are a good team. We're going to be a fun team to watch. Now people care. Too late for that.
Yeah, listen, the Magic. If there was one thing that we've always kind of said that the Magic desperately needed was rebounding. The Magic out rebounded the Houston Rockets 56-31 rebounds. And let's be honest, man. It was more will than it was anything. Cole Anthony was going in there grabbing rebounds. Jalen Suggs was grabbing crazy rebounds. Jonathan Isaac, I felt like I heard the slap of the ball from the rebounds through my TV speakers. Like there's such an emphasis, and that's coming from coaching. That's Coach
Yep.
Most. He's the one that's putting that effort out there and saying that these are our priorities, and he's following through on it. Now the Magic, we weren't perfect, man. We shot 26.5% from the 3-point line. If we shoot that against these really good teams, they're going to take advantage of that flaw against us. We need to be more efficient from behind the 3-point line. And I understand this game one, and you're gonna have games where you shoot well and games that you don't shoot well. But that's got to be something where we've struggled with shooting for a long period of time. That eventually, at some point, we just got to do a better job. And we can't go into every game 9 and 34 from the 3-point line. It's just something that can't happen.
Yep, I agree with you. And I mean, that's the only part of our team that still needs to be looked at and corrected. It's a 3-point shooting. We know that that's a weakness of our team. And I'm hoping at this point that gets fixed in the offseason. That's the last area, man. We have young players. We have depth. We have talent. We have the will to win. We just need shooters now, man. Or we need our guys to develop enough that 3-point shooting to become threat. But to your point, we can't shoot 26% against the Lakers on Monday night or against the Clippers and think, oh, yeah, we're going to go out there and win by 10. It's not going to happen. So that's the one area that we still got to get better at.
Yeah, more Magic basketball talk in just a few moments. But before we get into it, a quick word from our sponsor, BetOnline. The last of the major pro sports league kicks off this week, and BetOnline is your top spot for all of your NBA action this season. With MLB, postseason, NFL, and college football and NHL in full swing, BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions. Get everything NBA at your fingertips with both desktop and mobile access for every sport anytime. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action. Don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Visit betonline.ag and use promo code BELIEVE today. Cole Anthony just signed his brand new contract with the Orlando Magic, where people were absolutely shocked that Cole Anthony signed a $39 million extension with the Orlando Magic. $39 million. What are your thoughts on Cole Anthony, finally getting this done and is back with the Magic for the foreseeable future?
So first things first, the first word that came to mind was relief, man. I did not want this to go into the offseason. I did not want to have to go into a restricted free agency, and I doubted the Magic were going to let him go and lose him in free agency. But even then, man, like he said himself, it's a relief just knowing, man, I got this contract. We can play ball. I'm here to win games. But the best part of it all, man, was Cole saying, this is my hometown. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to finish my career here. And I get it. It's a business, so it may not be the case. But if it was up to me, I want to retire here. And I'm like, damn, dude, like we know you love New York. We understand that. But yeah, here he is saying, this is my hometown. This is where I want to be for the rest of my career. You got to reward that, man. You got to reward that. And in my mind, Cole Anthony, I keep calling him the new Terrence Ross. The Human Torch is no longer here. His new nickname should be the Human Torch, the small version. But there he is. But I mean, dude, like the contract. Let's talk about the numbers, man. 13 mil per year for a dude that's going to be, for sure, a 6 Man of the Year candidate. I don't know what kind of crazy stuff Jeff is doing, Anthony Parker are doing in the front office, but to sign that contract on a dude that averaged 15 points a game off the bench last year, and will do that again this year, it's a steal, man. We saw some of the contracts that were handed out to other players that qualified to get extensions. It's wild to me that we got called for this contract. I mean, I appreciate it. If he took a pay cut, he sees the bigger vision. We're trying to win. We're trying to win a contending team. And due to that, everyone has to take sacrifices. That's just the way that it's going to happen if you want to stay in Orlando and be a part of this magical thing that we're building, this really good, solid team that we're building. I am glad he saw that vision. And man, what a steal. That's all I can say.
Yeah, when he was asked about it, he said main reason I really wanted to get this done for me is one obvious. I love it here, and I really think we have a chance to build something. But for me, on a selfish side, play the game stress free, do what I love, have fun, and just not have to worry about no looming contract, whatever that is, and just go out there and know I'm cool for a few more years and just hoop and have fun. I mean, that's Cole Anthony. Um, Cole Anthony, if you were to think of the word heart and hustle with the Orlando Magic, which is a traditional word that we've used, right? When we talk about the DNA that's embedded, the culture that's been embedded with the Orlando Magic, heart and hustle is something that's synonymous to this franchise. Cole Anthony is the epitome of that. Cole Anthony has a gene of Darryl Armstrong. He has a gene of, Bo Outlaw. Like he just has that energy inside of him that is something that you can't teach. It's not something that you just can learn. It's just something that you're embedded with. And Cole Anthony, man, if people have talked about how he is unhappy that he doesn't see himself as a six-man player, he sees himself as a starter, that it's just not going to work. The Magic are going to have to trade him. Blah 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 blah. If there was any indication that that is absolutely fabrication and that is not the real story behind how Cole Anthony feels, then I don't know what is, man. Because this is someone that if he really felt that way, he could have tested he could have bet on himself, right, and tested free agent. Who knows what the market really is out there? I know for a fact that there are teams that would extremely value Cole Anthony. And sure, you can point at his defensive struggles due to his size, but Cole Anthony, man, he's hard in the hustle. He provides effort, and I am so happy that it's going to be part of the team because from a many different factors, from leading the second unit to God forbid something happens to Markelle Fultz, and now Cole Anthony is your starting point guard. He is somebody that you know for a fact that you can rely on, and getting him to come back to sign a 3-year, $39 million contract, third-year team option is insane. So kudos to you, Jeff Wellman. Kudos to the Magic front office. Kudos to Cole Anthony for feeling so passionate about this team that made him feel okay to be able to sign that deal.
Yeah, man. And I mean, he might be coming off the bench, right? That's what we think. He's a six man, all of this and that. But look at the minutes played just yesterday. You got Paolo, Franz, Wendell, and Markelle that played more minutes than him. But he was the fifth player on our team that played the most minutes. Jalen Suggs, who was a starter, played 21. Cole Anthony played 24. So don't be surprised if that is a trend as the year goes on, where Jalen Suggs starts the games, but Cole Anthony's playing the mid-first quarter all the way through the mid-second quarter. Same thing in the third to the fourth quarter. And he's getting in 27, 28 minutes a night, 30 minutes a night if he has it going. So all of a sudden, you're coming off the bench, but you're really a starter on this team, at least getting the minutes of a starter. And that happened a lot too last year after the All-Star break, where he was a six-man, but Cole was playing a ton of minutes. But man, thankful that, again, he made the decision to stay around. I know that the Magic will treat him well here. If he stays healthy, the maturity level is there. You can see his point guard skills getting so much better as each game passes. That's crucial, man. And to your point, if Markelle goes down, if Jalen Suggs goes down, this is a guy that you can trust giving now 25, 30, 35 minutes a night saying, hey, man, we're relying on you. And he may not be the best defender, but he plays so damn hard that he makes up for it. He goes for those loose balls. He grabs a lot of rebounds for a small guard. That makes up for those small skills that he's lacking on the defensive end. He can do nothing about it. He's a small guard. He can't do anything about it. But the effort, he brings it every single night.
Yeah, man. He's not 6'7", but he plays bigger than what he is. He's athletic. He's fast. He doesn't give up. There's just a ton of effort coming from Cole Anthony. So really happy to see him back. Glad that we were able to sign him at the contract that we did, and this front office continues to impress us by their negotiation skills. Maybe we don't do the big splashy trades that people want every single NBA trade deadline, or the big flashy free agent signings. We got Joe Ingles, but they do a good job at what they do, and man, another amazing contract signing. Now, with that said, Chuma Okiki was another player. Excuse me, Chuma Okeke. Still gotta get used to that. Chuma Okeke did not sign a contract extension and will be a restricted free agent after this upcoming season. So talk to me about that. Are you surprised by it? Two, is this coming close to the end of what we'll see of Chuma?
I think so, man. I mean, the only way that I see Chuma kind of cracking the rotation and maybe earning himself a contract with the Magic is, God forbid, and I will say this a million times, God forbid, J.I. goes down again. And now you're relying on Chuma to be the backup four, and he blows up. He starts hitting threes again. He's just looking like that Chuma that we drafted, that we were like, man, this guy has it. Defensively, hits threes, plays hard. They called him the next Kawhi Leonard out of college, and that never really has developed. But if he shows some glimpses due to an opportunity, maybe. But if everyone stays healthy in this team, man, unless he embraces being the 14th, 15th man on the roster and being okay with that, maybe. But honestly, I think that unless something drastic happens to him, opportunity-wise, it's pretty much the end of the road for him.
I mean, he's playing with the third string right now. It's kind of like a fall from grace. Unfortunately, you can blame it on injuries. You can blame it on opportunity. You can blame it on a million different things. What you're hoping for is during the end of game minutes that he plays, you're able to see some immediate impacts. I really don't feel like I saw that in the Rockets game. If anything, I saw him get a little frustrated and dribbles the ball down the court, passes it to nobody, and decides to chuck the three up. That's what I saw. You have Anthony Black that's playing team basketball. Goga that's making an effort. They're taking what the defense gives them, and he just takes the ball down. He just shoots a three and it's off. Like I don't know. You hope to see some flashes in there, and maybe it's confidence, maybe it's frustration, maybe it's just game one, and the game is almost over. It can be a million different things, but you root for Chuma. Chuma's a good dude, man, and you hope that your draft pick, someone that you've invested in, is someone that doesn't end up being another Mo Bamba, and you end up letting him go, letting him walk, and you tip that off to being a good front office. I don't know. You wish that you can get a little bit more, and unfortunately, it's hard to see where. And you're right. If it's not for injuries, is there really room for Chuma?
Yeah. And by the way, now you mentioned the name Mo Bamba real quick. Gotta ask real quick. Goga Batadze, Mo Bamba. If you could redo it all over again and just sign one to be your third string center today, who will you sign?
I mean, truthfully, I would still sign Mo Bamba.
What? Really?
Yeah, I would still.
Dude,
I had a moment of nostalgia. I'll be honest with you. We didn't talk about it on air, but this past weekend I was on a cruise. I went on vacation. Went on a cruise for 3 nights, 4 days, and in the middle of the deck, right, first few hours, right when we're selling off away, you got a DJ playing a whole bunch of different music, and they played Mo Bamba.
Did you get teary eyes?
I got teary eyed. Yeah, nostalgic. I thought about all the great times that Mo Bamba had with Kevin Garnett, and Kevin Garnett was supposed to be his mentor, and it was a lot of great moments. It was a very quick flash. It went from him, training with Kevin Garnett to him getting in a fight with Austin Rivers. It went like that.
So tell you what, man. Tell you what, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. It must have been the drinks. I'm not blaming it on the drinks. but I got to say, man, guess. I'm going to give you a quick guess. We're going long on this episode because of Mo Bamba now. But how many minutes did Mo Bamba play tonight, opening night, against the Bucks? You don't really have a backup center because your backup center got hurt. So you are it. You're the backup center now to Joel Embiid, who played 36 minutes. How many minutes did Mo Bamba play tonight?
Is this a math problem? Okay. So if your starting center played 36 minutes,
yes,
and you're the primary backup center, I'm going to go with 0.
0.
Nice.
Yeah. So just saying, man.
I'm sure there's a very good reason.
Just saying. Not for nothing, man, but I'm going to tell you one thing. Goga has won me over because when he's in the game, he fouls people hard, 1. 2, he remounts the ball. 3, when he gets the ball inside, he lays it in. That's all you need a center to do. I know he can hit threes. Mo Bamba, I get it. But the basics, man.
Philadelphia,
the basics.
they're not valuing Mo Bamba the same way that the Lakers didn't value Mo Bamba, the same way that the Magic didn't value Mo Bamba. There's going to be a team out there somewhere in the world, whether it's in the NBA or not in the NBA, somebody is going to appreciate Mo Bamba, and he'll be better for it.
You know what's going to happen? Dwight's going to retire from Taiwan eventually.
This guy,
Mo Bamba, right there. This guy.
Yeah, I was really hoping we were going to go through the whole episode without mentioning Dwight. We're gonna skip forward. We're not talking about it, Al. It's not happening. I refuse. It's not TMZ. Traveling Queen, he ends up getting the third two-way contract after a very strong game versus Flamengo last Friday. Unfortunately for all you Mac McClung fans, Traveling Queen got that over him. Really excited for Traveling Queen. Just your quick thoughts on it, 2 seconds. Are you happy with that signing?
It's funny because going into that game against Flamengo, once we heard like, oh, the starters are not really playing, it's just G League guys. I'm like, this is whoever plays the best gets the job. And that's what happened. Traveling Quinn did a crazy job dunking on people, crazy finishing in a fast break. So like he earned it, man. He played hard. He made shots. I mean, don't forget, we are the Magic. So we're going to go with a guy that plays better, but also that's taller. So 6'7", 6'3", easy decision.
Nice and easy. Listen, the Magic got Portland Trailblazers next. It would be super nice to go 2-0. You're looking at a new-looking Portland Trailblazers where they no longer have Damian Lillard. You're looking at the first stint of seeing what Scoot Henderson looks like as a Blazer. So it's going to be a really, really fun matchup. And the Magic, they go on their first West Coast trip right off the jump. You got Portland. Portland's game is going to be super late at 10 o'clock, followed by Monday against the Lakers, back-to-back Tuesday against the Clippers, and then Thursday against Utah Jazz. All very, very late showing. So when we said in the beginning of this episode that this schedule is going to get rough, and it's going to get rough pretty quickly, this is what we mean. You're talking about going against LeBron and AD, Kawhi. You're talking about the Utah Jazz that's been a very tough team in the West as well. If the Magic can really find a way, if the Magic are truly here, and this is a new team, you're expecting that the Magic on this West Coast trip at a bare minimum comes out with at least 2 wins.
Oh, you actually stole the words out of my mouth, man. That's my expectations. You win 2, you lose 2. My prediction would be you beat Portland, you beat the Jazz. Might not play out that way, but ultimately you go 2-2. You come back home 3-2, and we're not even going to talk about that. The schedule gets even tougher when we come home, if that can be possible. So deal with what you have in front of you. This is the next week. Win 2, lose 2. I'll be happy with that. A 3-1 West Coast trip, bro, would be insane. Like that would be incredible if we can do that.
I mean, going undefeated, go to the West Coast undefeated, come back, really shock the world would be another great story to headline ESPN First Take. That'd be awesome to happen. But we'll see, man. Crazier things have happened. West Coast trip, man. This is where things are going to get super, super fun. And I hope everyone got the Red Bull. Is getting a lot of rest in preparation for these late games, because these games get tough, man. These games get super tough. Really quick, just remember to mention that this episode was presented by BetOnline, so make sure that you guys go check them out. Really good stuff. And on that note, it's a wrap. We will catch you guys next week.
For all the latest Magic news and updates, visit OrlandoMagicHQ.com and follow us on Instagram at OrlandoMagicHQ and on Twitter at OMagicHQ. Also, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe and leave a 5-star review on your favorite listening platform.